Hello there! So today we decided to travel all the way down to Mexico to discuss the difference between Mexican and American construction. Let's talk about it. When you come to Mexico, first thing is getting some street food. So to start the day, we're going to have our juice is being freshly squeezed, and then we're going to go get some tacos. And here's our next stop, so stand-up tacos.
Okay, so I'm revisiting all my childhood places. So this is where I used to have breakfast. Some tacos for breakfast. Yes, for breakfast. So they're delicious. Some chicharrón and papa with chorizo. Oh hey, see that apartment complex back there? That's where Marcela and I met.
That used to be our elementary school. We met on 6th grade like a long time ago. So let's discuss a bit Mexico City and earthquakes. So we said it's an earthquake-prone zone. So here's the thing. The Aztecs had this prophecy that they should build a city wherever they saw an eagle eating a snake on the top of a nopal. That's some sort of cactus. And it happened, they saw it. Now the problem is that it was in a swamp, but that was a prophecy, so they built a city on a swamp. So we have this not very stable soil, and then with all the tectonic plates, it's just a terrible place to be. But here's where the city is. So let me give you an example of what earthquakes can cause. In 2017, there was an earthquake here, 7.1 Richter magnitude. Okay. So there was a 7.1 Richter magnitude earthquake, and this zone of the city was pretty badly hit. So the building on the left is my auntie's building. After the earthquake, many bricks fell off to the point that from my auntie's bedroom we could see the neighbor. And that I'm not referring to a window, it was a hole in the wall. And thankfully the building is structurally sound, but if you can see on the building on the right, if you look closer to the top, first there is a gap and then you can see that it narrows. What happens is that building is actually leaning on the other building. So even if you see the structure standing, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's structurally sound. Remember my husband's childhood home? Let's use it to talk a little bit about construction in Mexico compared to the US. So first thing is, in Mexico, buildings and houses, they are usually built out of masonry, so that's either concrete blocks, concrete walls, or bricks and whatnot. And that's because we are in a very earthquake-prone zone, and that makes them obviously more resistant. Another difference is, in Mexico, usually all roofs are flat. And that has a few reasons. One of them is water. So we have what it's called tinacos, and they're like water tanks that go at the top of the buildings or the houses. And then underground you have a cistern. So the water from the city gets into the cistern, and then it gets pumped to the roof, it gets into the tinacos, and then by gravity they fall into the homes. So another difference, well, another advantage of the flat roofs is in older buildings, let's say 60s, 70s, there used to be small rooms, and that's because people used to hire servants or maids, and they would sleep on that little room and then come to work to the apartment. That's not so common anymore in modern buildings, but they still have either a garden roof or they have areas, so when people do the laundry, they can go to the roof and hang the clothes to dry. So we're at the roof of my auntie's house, and this is a building from maybe the 60s or late 60s or 70s, and this is what you usually see. You have like service rooms, And then over here is what used to be the laundry area. So the maids would come up here and they would wash the clothes by hand, and then they would go to the next floor, and that's where they would hang it to dry. So here we have some gas meters, one for each apartment. And then back here is where we have the cages, so people can come and they can hang their clothes to dry. There's one for each apartment building.
You can see all houses here in Mexico, they are masonry, and they have all the water tanks on top. So a little bit different from the US. Okay, so let's talk wall assembly. And this wall actually applies for the entire building or house. In reality, there isn't that much to it. It is just masonry, either bricks or concrete with rebar, and that is it. So there's no insulation. Whatever wires were preset there, they're already there. They're difficult to change. So it works great when an earthquake comes in or an emergency like fire, but it's not the most comfortable housing, let's say. Okay, so here are some of the disadvantages of masonry construction. So as you can see, they're running the cables around, and that's because it's extraordinarily difficult to run cables through the wall once the masonry assembly is complete. See this guy right here? His name is Rocky. He's actually an FBI agent. I don't know if you can tell. But anyway, we're not here to talk about it. We're here to talk about the window structure. So as you can see here, they are single pane, and they actually let air in, which in general, the weather here in Mexico is nice and temperate, but it makes it uncomfortable in the winter when it gets cold, and it makes it difficult in the summer when it is warm. Okay, we didn't come to study construction in Mexico.
We came to a wedding.